To Each a Tempo, an Ace Attorney and Elite Beat Agents fanfiction, Chapter 18. The voice shot terror through Phoenix. He turned, and there stood a man suited, coiffed, and very faintly smiling. Maya squeaked, and the sound skittered off the high walls. Phoenix clawed for something to say.
We're,
Just on your way out, I'm sure.
The man's smile grew, pulling creases around his eyes. There was nothing reassuring about it. If this was who Phoenix was sure it was...
We're lawyers. We're just here investigating a murder case.
You're Phoenix Wright, correct? I see. And I trust you have all the appropriate warrant documentation.
The what now?
For a search like this. Very well.
He smiled tighter and offered a long-boned hand, hesitantly, like he had just remembered his right hand existed.
My name is Sior Pathos, and I reside here.
That moment stood surreal. Pathos's razor-blue eyes, his smile and pained twitch in his brow as Phoenix took his hand. Where could he go from here? Phoenix knew too much about a stranger's old troubles and a wealth of top-secret information. His tongue knotted tighter. What was he even free to say?
So,
Fake scratching his ear, jab at the communicator, wish for Foxx's voice. He heard static, just a whisper of it, but maybe that was good? Any transmission was better than no transmission? Pathos's look narrowed, barely long enough to stand out from the manicured smile. It was surreal how much he looked like Stewart. Same height, same broad shoulders and forward-swept blonde hair, and yet he moved absolutely nothing like him.
I see you found my articles, Mr. Wright. Have you had the opportunity to read any?
Oh, the articles?
That was safe enough, wasn't it? Phoenix glanced to his handful of papers.
I had a look at them.
Maya crept to Phoenix's side.
You're published in magazines? Are you a reporter?
A reporter? I haven't got the credentials for that, I'm afraid. All I write is what I know to be true. Please take those copies. I've made them to share. You might find them enlightening.
Enlightening indeed. Phoenix set his briefcase by his feet, folded the sheets into almost even quarters, and stuffed them into his pocket. And Pathos carried on watching them, smiling, his gaze unwavering like a splinter driving under a fingernail. Static still hummed in Phoenix's ear, and he still had nothing to say.
If that's all you needed to know.
Pathos passed Phoenix and Maya. He moved sure, like important boardrooms waited for him. Each step clicked the way only dress shoes could. This was nowhere near all he needed to know.
I need to know where you were at 11 a.m. on Tuesday morning.
Tuesday? Same place I always am.
Pathos's head bent, contemplative, his neck starkly pale against the indigo suit collar as he dug in his pocket for keys.
In the orchard having lunch, working on my next article. Chef LaFlamme will tell you the same. I trust you've met her.
Phoenix couldn't let this opportunity get away. He stepped forward, Maya's small presence shifting behind him.
You were riding in the Orchard Bistro, but what did you do after that?
He slid his hand into his pocket, already feeling the presence of steel chains. Pathos froze. Chill stole through the air, and Phoenix's fist closed around the Magatama as chains snaked in tighter as the tune swelled. Pathos turned, his 5 locks glinting.
I took a walk through the park, Mr. Wright. It's good to clear one's head.
Something thrummed different. The colors stirred slower, and it wasn't just from Pathos's knife of a smile. Phoenix tightened his grip on the Magatama.
It may be good for you, but I don't think it was good for anybody else.
Pathos blinked.
And why is that?
He was acting like he didn't know. Then why didn't the chains strain to hold it all in? Why did the colors murmur around Pathos instead of singing clear? Phoenix needed to strike at the right angle, but how was he supposed to know? Here was the problem. He knew with a shiver as Pearl's whisper echoed to nothing. The ethereal song faltered and the foyer walls crept closer. The Magatama's charge was fading, and when there was nothing left, Phoenix squeezed the gem tighter and listened harder to every note. He didn't have a second to waste. Pathos lifted a brow.
If something is the matter, Mr. Wright.
There was a murder in the park on Tuesday morning, committed by someone well-dressed. A witness reported a suited man, and the footprints found near the scene are from a man's dress shoe. That sounds remarkably like you, Mr. Pathos.
A crack skittered loud off the walls, but no lock fragments peppered the air. There was only the flash in Pathos's eyes.
A suited man? That's a rather vague testimony to be accusing people of murder on, Mr. Wright.
The same double edge as always. Seeing a suited man didn't prove a thing, because suited men were thick on the ground. Phoenix gritted his teeth, and Pathos turned away. The Magatama had no strength to hold him with. They weren't done, and the warm glow faded from Phoenix's palm. But why could he still hear the truth song, struggling and distant?
If you wish to accuse a suited man of wrongdoing, you'll need a basis for your accusation. You'll need a motive, and if you have nothing of that nature to discuss, I'll bid you goodbye.
I have more than that.
Phoenix stepped forward, left the gem in his pocket, and clenched fists by his sides.
You...
But where to start? All the proof of Pathos's presence was circumstantial, and all of Phoenix's information was agent-laced. If only there were some common knowledge.
Special Ops, come in.
Fox's voice, blessedly familiar. Phoenix's hand flew to his ear.
Yes, I'm here.
And then he realized his mistake. He felt colder than ever as Pathos turned back to eye him.
Pardon me?
Phoenix still had a hand at his earpiece. Another mistake. He dragged it backwards to rub his neck.
I'm here to, find out possible motive. For the murder, that is.
And what did you have in mind?
He faced Phoenix and smiled.
Yeah, you,
Phoenix scrabbled. He needed common knowledge, like a person's job. Like how Phoenix himself was known to be a lawyer.
You worked for Nexus, didn't you?
Phoenix? Are you?
I don't recall mentioning Nexus broadcast. Why do you bring it up?
Wrong question. Panic spread, shuddering through Phoenix.
You're... when you were let go.
And the circumstances of my resignation were not made public.
Phoenix, abort! Get out of there!
His gaze darted away to Maya's quiet shuffling, and back to Phoenix, narrowing venomous.
Don't think I didn't notice that little pang you gave me. I know what your kind can do.
His kind? But that was all wrong. Phoenix had the Magatama. He had broken a Psyche-Lock and he was wearing an earpiece and a suit. He lifted useless hands.
What? No, I didn't.
Oh, I'm sure you did. And I've got exactly what I need to tell the world about you.
Pathos's gaze snapped suddenly to Maya, widening.
Don't touch that!
She must have found key evidence, a weapon, and the danger that came with it. And what if something happened? Phoenix looked to Maya, her deer-startled face in her hand clasping to her chest.
It's just...
Her hand opened.
It's just a coupon.
Just,
Phoenix looked around him, finding Pathos's neck-prickling presence gone.
It's for 30 cents off Toss and Bake. Is it really that big a deal?
It couldn't be, could it? Pathos's footsteps in the stairwell faded away, and the logo emblazoned coupon Maya clutched wasn't clicking into place.
a coupon? But why on earth would a...
Realization struck cold. Phoenix looked to the floor, to the empty space where his briefcase should have been.
Team, report!
Phoenix clutched at his hair and searched every corner, eyed every inch of white space around him, even though he knew horribly better.
Foxx, we've,
He threw his hands back to his sides.
we've been had. Pathos got his hands on my briefcase.
What? He got the agency notes?
Yeah, he also got Stewart's mic.
The thought wrenched his guts.
Everything. He got everything.
Phoenix, he can't eat. What did he say? He has exactly what he needs to.
Tell the world about you.
Maya crept closer and pressed the coupon into Phoenix's hands.
But he already writes about the agency, doesn't he?
Something bigger. Nexus Executive Pass reported missing 2 days post-dismissal. He might have access. No!
What? How does he have access?
He stuffed the coupon in his pocket, found a lot of good it would do them, and began to pace.
It was Pathos who hacked the comm lights, wasn't it?
The breach disturbance on all frequencies, probably from a homebrew variable output device.
3 times as much answer as Phoenix needed, but output? That meant it gave off electronic signals, and that meant he nodded.
Pathos recognizes agents and their music sense, and he can hack your comm lines, and he's on his way to the broadcast station. Then sending agents after him will just give him more ammunition.
Phoenix dug in his pockets past the paper and scraps to his cell phone.
I think we all should keep our distance, Foxx. It's bad enough that he thinks I'm an agent.
10-4. He's still suspect of murder, agency or no agency. We'll need your connections, Phoenix.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
He headed for the stairs, raking his mind for the right phone numbers.
Nick, wait!
Maya still stood by the table, and she held up Pathos's briefcase, each scale-shaped indent catching sun.
What about this?
Phoenix was, now more than ever, a firm believer in turnabout. He nodded and motioned for Maya to follow him. To Each a Tempo was written by Pyrasaur. Ace Attorney and Elite Beat agents are owned by Capcom and Enis, respectively. The narrator for this story is Genndy C.O.G. The voice of Phoenix Wright is Lastni. The voice of Maya Fey is Miki. The voice of Pearl Fey is RoseOfSweetness. The voice of Agent Foxx is Galen Skibyak. The voice of Sior Pathos is Todd Wilson. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.